Hello, hello. Welcome to my space. I hope you are doing well. So, just a few words, a little intro before we start. And it is, here's a phrase, and I will explain it, right? So, it is identity precedes circumstances. I repeat, identity precedes circumstances. What do I mean by that? It is that first you need to embody the change before the change occurs, right? Why am I saying that? Because I will give you two examples of life. When, let's say, somebody is in a toxic situation, in a toxic relationship, there is no point in telling them, you need to leave this relationship and you need to leave it now. Because the reality is that first this person must embody themselves. We might think, you have to leave and that's it, and then afterwards everything will be fine. It doesn't work this way. First you have to embody your power again, and then you are doing whatever you need to do, right? And if you don't do it this way, it might even be dangerous. So there is no point in trying to force someone into doing something that they are not ready for, right? So another example, a phrase that I hear over and over again, and I cannot stand it for many reasons. And one of them, it is because it is psychologically dangerous. It is fake it until you make it. First of all, I don't like it because I would like to work, for example, with people who are truly professionals. And if they are not, I want to know that they are not. So don't fake professionalism that you don't have. I don't like that. But more than that, it is pushing people to act from a place where they are not embodying the identity yet. And so it might even put them back in some kind of trauma, or how do we say that? Intensify the trauma, right? So, all of this to say that, in fact, often we might think that, you have to act and then things will change. No, in reality, it is not the case, right? We are a human being, we are a whole system, a complex system, and very often the change occurs after that you have embodied your new identity, right? So this is what I wanted to talk about today. I hope that I was clear. I know that it might sound, I don't know. Maybe it's not very clear. Let me know in the comments. But let's see. Let's get into a reading. Let's see what oracle deck we are using today. Let's see. Shadow work. Okay. Shadow work, I think it is this one. Absolutely, it is. I like this deck. Very often it is very deep readings. So, let's see. I think that I am using this deck totally in one position, unless cards are turning on the table. Yes, absolutely. So, let's shuffle, just to put the energies into the deck. And then we'll take 9 cards. Right, I want to shuffle a little bit more. Okay, let's get into it. Seductive allure, ride the storm, deception, seductive allure, instant gratification blinds you to the circumstances. This is the seductive allure. Ride the storm, I guess we understand. Deception, we understand. Feathered omens, Even the sweetest bird harbors fierce intention. Then we have anger, so important, anger. And it's in the 5th position. I love that. Journey inward. 7th position, stubborn. This is not good. This is not good. Unseen patterns and inner balance. Okay, let's see. The stubborn might be good, in fact. It all depends. Okay, let's see. Let's see. So, someone wanted instant gratification. They wanted immediate results. Kind of feel that it didn't happen with this deception in the 3rd position. Listen, the foundation here, I feel that we might be talking about someone who thought, I'll say it this way, and if you were here, you will understand exactly what it means. If not, I will explain. Somebody who was misguided by your cup's energy. What it means, the cup energy, it is the emotional energy. A lot of people of the collective, they are carrying this cup's energy. They are very kind, very empathetic, understanding, patient, too much sometimes. And so some people might be blinded by that and think that you are naive, that you are weak, that you are all those kind of things, right? When in fact, it is not the case. In order to maintain a pure heart space, especially if you have some kind of life experience, it doesn't come from weakness. At the opposite, it demands a lot of strength. Because it's very easy to let your heart close down, become tainted, become mean or overly protective. So, carrying this energy, your emotional self, later in adult life, it requires a lot of courage and a lot of strength. But many people are blinded by that, and with these feathered omens, I kind of feel we are in the 4th position, which is the foundation. So I kind of feel that a person was counting on the fact that you were maybe weak, maybe a dreamer, maybe understanding to the place of annulment of self, right? People pleaser, giver, all those kind of things. So I'm very happy to see the deception here, because at the end of the day, they might have learned a lesson. It is that if you think that you can abuse the kindness of someone, you are very, very wrong. So, with the rider storm here in the 2nd position of partnership relationship, it kind of seems that this person has created a lot of turbulences and chaos in your life. Why? Because they thought that you were weak. They thought that you would fall. They thought that you would be naive, blinded, and that they could do of you whatever they wanted. And they wanted here instant gratification. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. So they became very, very angry, right? So, the thing that must be done, it is a journey inward. Are they doing that? With the stubborn here, I don't feel that they are doing that. We also have the unseen patterns in the 8th position. What goes around comes around. Karma, all those kind of things. It's interesting because it kind of reflects on what I said before. What is written on the card here, it is change your thoughts, change your life. Beliefs reprogramming in. This is what I said. You first have to reprogram yourself before you make the change, right? This is how it happens. This is how it is supposed to happen. First, you embody the new version of self or whatever you have learned, and then there is a change that occurs in real life, right? For example, just to be clear, if you are part of a toxic family system, awakening to the fact that there is some kind of toxicity, it is a very important part. But it doesn't mean that you immediately step out. Very often, people stay because they are trying to somehow deal with the situation. And during that time, you embody the healing version of you. And then if you see that nothing can change, then you are leaving, right? This is how it works. It's not, okay, my family is toxic, I'm leaving, that's it, that's all. No. This is why I often say that don't ever regret the time, because people can say, I lost so many years, I lost so much time. Don't regret it, because this time was precious. Maybe this is the time that you needed in order also to embody the healed version of you, right? Making changes is very difficult when you are in a weak place. Sometimes you first have to get to the strong place, or for example, the healed version of you in order to be able to make the changes, right? So this is why I'm saying don't ever blame yourself for the time that you stayed. It's not that you stayed all this time and that there was no change inside of you. You needed to get back to a place of strength in order to be able to create the changes, right? So here, somebody wanted instant change, instant gratification. Considering the word gratification here, I kind of feel that you might have dealt with someone who was very, very ego-driven. So this is why when they saw some kind of resistance coming from you, they couldn't handle it. It was impossible. And so they tried to create, they were acting out of anger and trying to create a lot of storms in your life, and they were very, very stubborn. They didn't want to change their ways, right? So now they are facing their own unseen patterns. I kind of feel, considering where it is, that they attracted in their life people that are just like them, right? This is what I feel here. What you resist persists. What you accept transform. Wholeness, duality. I feel here that in this situation you had to truly ride the storm, right? So you had to find ways in order to survive whatever situation you were dealing with. Chances are you had to turn inward. You might have needed to go into hermit mode, no matter which one it is, in the upright or in the reverse. I often feel that the collective has no issue to be with themselves at the end of the day. They will heal. So it's not like, because for me the hermit in reverse, very often it is about hiding, right? It is about shame, hiding. It is not about learning something. It is not about seeing the light. It is not about wisdom, healing. It's not about that. It's the opposite. So I kind of feel here that you might need to have this journey inward that was forced on you because you were dealing here with very difficult circumstances, because you had someone who was angry, who was stubborn, acting from their unresolved patterns, and all because they couldn't stand the fact that they didn't had the gratification that they were expecting, right? We might be talking about somebody narcissistic. It doesn't have to be. So let's get deeper into that. Just a reminder, this is a collective reading, which means that it's a group reading, which means that it might be for you. it might be partly for you and it might not be for you. So please take what resonates, leave the rest. You are already supposed to know what we are talking about here, right? Don't take on yourself a story that is not yours. If I'm talking about masculines or feminines, I'm not especially talking about the gender. I'm talking about the energy from where someone is operating. So please apply it however it applies to the roles in your life, and this can be past, present, or future. So let's see what's going on here. What do we need to know? Wait, I will put the cards like this. I didn't check if you can see all the cards, but I guess that you can. I will check when I put the other cards down. Let's see. Judgment. Oof. We are starting strong. We are starting strong. Let's see. Can you? Yes, you can. Also the upper cards. Yes, also the upper cards. Everything. Okay, listen. Judgment and the devil, right? Both cards are from the major arcana. It is a real situation here. What you went through was, it was not a detail, right? We might be talking about something that happened for months, even years. It might have been very, very difficult for you to accept the fact that you were dealing with someone that was extremely toxic and that there was no way here to, you know, sometimes what is taking time is accepting the fact that we cannot change someone, that there is no place for negotiation. And this is something that is important, right, to learn in life. It is that with some people you cannot negotiate, you cannot make them move from their place, especially if we are talking about someone who is ego-driven, right? So it's all about winning for them. Their image is very, very important. With the devil here, I feel that somebody might have been obsessive. They wanted to control you. They might be dealing also with some kind of addiction. Here I kind of feel that the addiction that we are talking about, it is control. This is what I feel here. I don't especially feel some kind of yeah. Anyway, judgment. You had to get to this place where you could put a final judgment in order to be able to totally release. And it might have taken you a little bit of time here because you might have been confused. The devil is very confusing, but I kind of feel that you could see that you were dealing here with somebody that was very, very controlling. They were trying to bond you, make you unable to realize yourself, be yourself. Yeah, look, we have here. Yeah, they listen. You were dealing here with someone who was betraying you, breaking your heart over and over again, and at the same time, this is the most disturbing part. We have the Eight of Cups in reverse. The Eight of Cups is talking about someone who is taking distance, sometimes leaving behind even people or things that they love, but they have to take distance in order to heal. It might be finding themselves, it might be realizing themselves, but it is about taking distance in order to heal. Here the person was betraying you over and over and over again, and as we are talking here about someone carrying the energy of the devil, very controlling, bonding, trauma bonding, they didn't want you to be able to move forward. They didn't want you to take distance. They didn't want you to heal. So the judgment that I'm looking at right now, I feel that you might have truly felt the need to escape disconnection. You might have wanted to somehow leave this connection with peace. You wanted it to go towards a peaceful place, but there was no way. And this is also an important lesson, you know. Sometimes, in order to have your peace, you have to accept war. Because if you are, for some people, your peace is the worst thing that there can be. When we are talking here with someone who is all about controlling you, your peace is your peace is their biggest enemy. They don't want you to be peaceful. They want you to be at war. So they will never accept the peace. They don't want you to be at peace. When they see that you are at peace, they will do something to create a war, to put a burden on you, to bring you down. They don't want the peace. So sometimes you have to accept that in order to have your peace, you will leave behind you some kind of war. This is part of the thing. And here, this is truly what I feel. Because this person doesn't want you to go. And we are here with the energy of the devil. Tell me more here, please. Two of Pentacles, stability, justice. I love that. I love that. Yeah, in order to have your stability, right, you needed to take in charge the balance. Those two cards here are talking about balance. The Two of Pentacles, it is truly finding your balance. Here with the Justice, we have the scale of justice also here, right? It's a 2 and it's a 2. Justice, it is 11. 1 and 1 is 2. So we have twice the number 2. The 2 is talking about balance and it is talking about the choices. So you needed to make the right choices in order to be able to maintain your balance and be fair to yourself, which meant maybe accepting that you would leave behind you a situation that was not peaceful as you would have wished that it would be, right? I think that often people stay because they hope, especially if we are talking about dysfunctional family and things like this. You know, when I see online people who say that like it's a trend now to go no contact, it's obvious for me that people don't understand the cost of going no contact and how the no contact at the end of the day. I'm not saying, you know, if we are talking about a teenager, it's something else. But people who at adult stage go no contact, they have tried everything and they have tried to maintain some kind of boundaries in order to be able to have this kind of peace and stability within the system. But they realize that the more that they are trying to create this peace, the more they are backstabbed, because the family system don't want them to be at peace. They don't want them to heal. If they heal, it's a catastrophe, right? They don't want them to be strong. I truly feel here that you had to find your own balance and bring your own justice to yourself and accept that maybe you wouldn't be able to have the peace that you wish to have. Tell me more here, please. Yeah. Knight of Pentacles in reverse and the Emperor. You needed to totally take the lead here, right? You might have been dealing here, I don't know if we are talking about a spouse, a relationship, like romantic relationship, family, friend, work, I don't know, you know. You know, we are a lot of people here. We are going through a lot of the same situations, but it is decorated differently, right? So yeah, you truly had to take the lead in this situation here, because you were dealing, we have the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. It was stagnant, nothing was moving. You might have tried to be very patient in this situation, but at the end of the day, whatever strategy you try to put in place in order to have some kind of peace in the situation, they were working against you at the end of the day. There is inflexibility in this energy of the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. It was stuck, the situation was stuck. So you truly needed to take the lead here and bring justice to yourself, because whatever you were planning or wanting to have, all you had was deception. Let's see. 1 second, I feel like I need to shuffle a little bit more. Let's see, what else? What else should the collective be aware of? Interesting, we have the Hermit, exactly in the position that I thought. Yeah, healing. Healing of many, many, many betrayals, the Hermit. Listen, the healing gives you the understanding that you need. I talked about it already, that when you are dealing here with situations where you are stressed out all the time because people are they want you weak, they want you stressed out, right? We are with the devil here. They want you stressed out. They want you to be at war with yourself. They don't want the peace, right? So this is why they are doing whatever they can in order to keep you stuck. But once you take the distance, even emotionally, right? You take emotionally this distance. You protect yourself emotionally. Then you regain clarity. You see things very, very clearly. I already talked about the fact that when you take the distance, then you totally get out of the survival mode, and then you regain your clarity and you see things very, very differently. I just want to be clear here, because I understand that it might be contradictory to what I said before. You don't leave a situation when you are totally healed, but you leave a situation when you are ready, right? This is the thing. It doesn't mean that you are totally out of survival mode. It doesn't mean that you are not confused. It doesn't mean that you are totally healed. No. But you regain some kind of power. And nobody can define when it's the right time. This is why when people are telling, no, you have to leave this relationship, you have to this, and you have to do it now, it's not a good idea, because the person will go back. They have to get to a certain stage inside of them. It's important. It's important. And then it will be the right time. And nobody can define when is this time, right? When they are strong enough in order to do whatever they need to do. So here, healing, regaining clarity, learning the lesson. I don't like the learning the lesson, right? Because I always say, why do we need to learn the lesson? But at the end of the day, the reality is that when we succeed to heal from those kind of situations, there are some lessons that are coming. We have the Hermit here. You might have needed to truly protect yourself in order to be able to regain your clarity. 5 of Cups. Hierophant and the Moon in reverse. This I will take back. It was turned. Those two were open. So, 5 of Cups, depression, rejected, feeling abandoned, maybe grief. grief. The moon in reverse. Listen, accepting the reality, not being confused anymore, come with a lot of grief, right? If we are talking about dysfunctional family, for example, one of the biggest issues from those children, adult children, who at the end of the day sometimes decided they have to go no contact, it is that they have to accept the fact that whatever kind of relationship they would like to have with a parent, they have to grieve the parents that they were trying, hoping that they would have. We tend to project on our parent things that might not be there. Like, for example, that your happiness is a priority. For some parents, it is not the case. When you have a narcissistic parent, their priority is not your happiness. They don't care about your happiness. They don't even look at your happiness. No, you have to shine bright on them the way that they want. Your happiness is totally irrelevant. It is not a subject. So there is a grief here. When you awaken to the truth, the moon in reverse, when you are not confused anymore, when you understand the underlying motivation of people, there is a lot of grief. It is painful. And this is why, once again, I'm saying that people who are saying that people that go no contact, it is a trend. No, I'm sorry, but if you say that, I guess that your child went maybe no contact. And maybe I understand why, because you don't accept to see the reality of the situation, that they tried everything, that maybe you might not be the ideal parent, and you are not supposed to be the ideal parent, but you are supposed to want to be a safe space for your child. And if whatever they are telling you, you don't care, you put it to the side, you treat them as if they would do something like that out of a trend, this tells me exactly why they needed to go no contact. Because if you were taking them seriously, they wouldn't have gone no contact, right? Not every situation is the same, but I'm talking about 95% of the cases, right? This is dismissing the hurt of someone. And if you dismiss the hurt of someone in a relationship with you, then you don't listen. There will be no change. So what do they have to do? Right? They have to protect themselves, and they're going no contact. Tell me more here, please. I feel that this reading is going in every kind of direction. King of Pentacles here. Yeah, you had to make very down-to-earth decisions. The King of Pentacles comes here. This is talking about grounding. It is talking about stability, being realistic. I truly feel here that you needed to be very, very realistic about the situation, which is difficult, right? Because of what I talked about, the fact that you might be attached to some kind of desires, hopes, and also maybe willing this peace that is not possible, right? So you needed to be very, very realistic, and I'm talking about peace here because we have the Seven of Wands in reverse. So you might have tried, put boundaries, defend yourself, being heard, being seen. But I kind of feel that you understood at a certain moment, you were realistic enough to understand that there was no point. There was no point. So either you could continue to evaluate dealing with those people, but very often we are here with the devil. The devil wants to control you. They don't want you to be happy. So it's kind of impossible, Some people say, yeah, but you can maintain some kind of image. Family is family, if we are talking about family. No, it doesn't work because they don't want your peace. They don't want your strength. They don't want you to be happy in your life. They want to control you. So when you are dealing with someone who is trying to control you, you cannot just entertain them or maintain some kind of image. It doesn't work. Most try. Doesn't work. Tell me more here, please. Yeah. Healing your inner child. Healing your inner child. Healing the past. Instead of putting your energy in trying to change the situation and the people around you, whoever we are dealing with, it's about healing the past. This was the realistic decision to make. You cannot change them. It's impossible. Yeah. Okay, let's see. One second. Disturbs me. Yeah. Okay, let's see. What else? A new beginning. A new beginning. And listen, here I'm taking the 7 of Swords, that you had no other choice at the end of the day to maybe escape. I'm taking the 7 of Swords here like escape. Yeah. And I'm taking it like escape because also, you know, it's coming here under the devil. The devil, you have no other choice but to escape. Because the devil will do everything in order to maintain you stuck. They want you bonded. They want to control you. So you have no other choice but to escape. Okay. Tell me more here, please. Yeah. It is so clear. I love it. The 5 of Wands in reverse. There is no fighting, competing. There is none. There is no reason why. They want that. They want that. And maybe in order to avoid to have those conflicts and being always in this energy of war, when what you are craving, it is peace, it is healing, kind of feel that, you know, you stopped fighting and you simply put boundaries and block them. Simply. Whoever we are talking about. Blocking out the energy. It doesn't mean that they wouldn't have tried to come back. They wouldn't have tried to bait you. They wouldn't have tried to whatever. You know, at the end of the day, people can try to cross your boundaries, and they will, right? As someone who has dealt with stalking, gang stalking, all those kind of things, you know, if somebody puts a camera on your building from the other side, what can you do? There is not much you can do. So yes, you can close the curtains, you can do all those kind of things. But at the end of the day, you are very limited. So your freedom is in your mind. It is in your mind. And when those kind of people, you know, the worst situation for me, it feels to me that when you have a child, for example, with a narcissist, because there it's very complicated because you have to. You cannot block the phone number, right? You can't. But you know, sometimes when you are dealing with situation, for me, years, my phone was closed all the time. All the time. Because it was the only way to protect myself. So yeah. But at the end of the day, when you are dealing with somebody carrying the energy of the devil, your freedom is in your mind. And I'm not saying that it's easy. It is truly not. It is truly, truly difficult. But you have no other choice, and it is something that is very, very difficult to master. But once you master it, this is the highest level of mastery, I think, right? Tell me more here, please. Strength. Yeah, listen. Wow. 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 Yeah. Strength, regaining control. Regaining control. And look what I was talking about. The mental prison. Getting out of the mental prison. Having control over your own mind. It's exactly what I was talking about. I won't stay hours on those two cards because this is exactly what I was talking about. Mastering your own mind, not allowing other people to have some kind of influence over you, even if they are obsessively trying, right? This is a very, very high level of mastery. Difficult to get there, but if you get there, the strength that you have is amazing. Amazing, right? And just to be clear, it is not about numbing yourself, right? Because numbing yourself, it is something different. This is why the mastery is so difficult. Because the idea is not to numb yourself. Numb yourself to some people, yes. But not totally numb yourself of your own feelings. But at the same time, being able to filter and protect yourself of people who want you to be stressed out. Who want to burden you. Who want to anger you, right? Let's go for closure. Regaining your power, self-love, happiness, self-confidence. Look, the arms, how they are closed. See? I protect myself. I observe. And I protect myself. I create my own life and I am protected by myself. Self-love. This is being emotionally stable by yourself. This is the ultimate stage of confidence and self-love. You don't need love from the outside, you have it inside. You stand alone and you have love. Right? Yeah, beautiful. I think that I will leave it here. I think that we have a lot. Yeah, I don't know how, I kind of feel this card is like this. You took yourself out of misery. It was very, very miserable because they were trying to block you. Yeah. Somebody was trying to have authority over you. Someone that should never have any authority over you. They were trying to force authority over you. Oh, they wanted to exhaust you. Lying, manipulating, being critical, trying to destroy your mind. Listen, it's truly try to put you in such, I see in front of me a brain and then, electrical cables and somebody always trying to overcharge your brain so you cannot think clearly. Right? Yeah, you needed to be patient and invest in yourself. Because they wanted you to be drowned. They wanted you to drown. This is what they wanted. Emotionally, mentally, this is what they wanted. Acting out of anger, being stubborn. Acting from their toxic patterns. Yeah, but you could see it. Listen, the Sun and the Page of Swords. Yeah. You needed to be generous towards yourself. Protect yourself. Regain your power. Listen, I hope that it was helpful. Maybe healing. Maybe insightful. I don't know. Let me know. I'll see you in the comments. Until very, very soon. Bye.